Oh, that's right. I should probably swap the scene back over. That would help. Hello, and welcome back, all you wonderful people. We're continuing through with the round of 8 for the 32Boys1Cup tournament. Yes, this one is starting a little bit earlier than expected, but that's okay. It's not by a whole lot, and it's by enough that these players can get on with their day, or in Losira's case, probably go to sleep, as it is quite late in Korea. I think it's about 10:30 p.m., 11 p.m., somewhere around there. But, of course, it's like 5:40, 5:45 a.m. over here on the west coast of North America. Ugh. But I've got no problem waking up for some good StarCraft 2, especially when it's our tournament, boys and girls. Continuing through the round of 8 for the 32Boys1Cup, spawning in the top left corner of the map. It is, from Team Acer, the blue Zerg, Nerchio.
The bottom right, it's us, the red Zerg. It's Losira.
Of course, repping that MVP. Now, coming into this, I think... through everyone's expectations, through statistics, as I try and speak English apparently this morning, Nerchio is probably the favored foreigner as far as when it comes to taking on their counterparts. I mean, I love Intense and all, but Parting did just beat Flash after all, and sadly Kane did fall to Gumio, so Nerchio, probably the best foreign hope at this point. We'll see if he's got a chance to actually take on Losira. Losira's shown us some pretty cool ZVZ games in the past. Nothing as cool as, like, say, Leenock when it comes to Broodlords or anything, but Losira's done interesting roach moves. We saw him embrace the Overlord drops and all these other things, but I don't know. Do you think, what do you think the chances are we actually get some early aggression in the series?
High, I would say. I think someone does it right off the bat. Why? I don't know. I don't think these either players like particularly aggressive, and I was gonna be like, well, they're always gonna 10 pool or something, but it's a nice thing to do in the first game, and sometimes it's not required to like continue an all-in either. Like you make 30 speedlings, okay, you should probably do something with them, but maybe you do enough, maybe you deny a third long enough that is actually worth it. And if they do a lot of damage, then yeah, that's great as well. But I definitely would hope to see some type of ling aggression, just to kind of test each other too, I guess.
Well, I think one of the things I always think about too when it comes to Nerchio is it for me at least personally, it goes back to like the days of old, the early beta, like watching this guy. Like I've seen Nerchio do speedling all-in since like the beginning of time, it feels, when it comes to StarCraft 2. Does that mean he's gonna do it every game? No, not at all. In fact, we actually see Nerchio sometimes be the guy who also goes to that late game Broodlord style. But again, a lot of this is coming up against a player like Losira. Neither one's on their home turf, so to speak. You know, it is North America once again, middle ground of Europe and Korea. Latency is certainly going to factor into this, and you don't want to do anything that's perhaps a little too micro-intensive, like controlling banelings if you've got some latency.
It's true. It's true. Well, we have to wait. Both players did get gas, so it's still it's a wide range of possibilities here.
Cool move out of Losira, going to deny the scout, whereas Nerchio does let it into his base. That's just a little bit scary because you risk losing a drone or two, as we see. Gets very low. He's just going to build cancel that. I like this.
Losira, you know, he did get gas, but I guess it was much later. Speed is going to be much later as well, if he does get it. Ooh, did Link see that?
Did he see it? No, he just barely didn't. So.
Oh.
Man, there's always like that like what, a half of a second or whatever, like after you die, that you still get lingering vision. I thought for sure he would have seen that, but nope. So the baneling nest going down is not exactly that crazy. Putting this hidden is what kind of indicates to me maybe Nerchio might just be willing to dial on the aggression. If he does, he's going to be cutting drones right around. Yep, right around now. So 8 lings on the way. 8 lings to start, of course, not that insane, but the idea is, of course, that you just overwhelm. Now, Losira does get his own baneling nest home as well. This is in the main, so it's, I kind of feel like equally weird to see this where they both have it in the main. Usually at least one player has it as part of a wall or a little nook at the natural for the queen to hide behind, but okay. So we're going to have some nice Zergling baneling aggression.
Yeah. Losira does throw down an Evo chamber here, and Roachborn. Alright, so he does make some type of wall. Well, now that second Evo chamber might be in response to seeing all those lings, I'm not sure, but the banelings come in here. Not much to be done. Speed isn't quite done for Losira, so microing is going to be a little more difficult for him. Did not get that build down.
But those banelings going to pop any second now. He's got to be careful. Both players just kind of detonate everything, and Losira perhaps in a little bit more trouble than I thought. He lost a couple of drones, that kind of sucks. Still, though, those banelings, a little too slow. Manual detonation goes off.
Yeah, nothing. That was really good for Nerchio there.
Yeah.
So he does not a whole lot of direct damage, but he's been droning behind this, really, really hard. He's even getting a spine crawler, just in case Losira. I mean, now Losira has like an odd number of lings, maybe can't do anything with, so he tries to counterattack, and that's always a big possibility with speedlings, as they're pretty damn fast. But I don't think Losira is going to try. I guess he's gonna poke with like these 8 lings that's running across the map, but other than that, it's not gonna do a whole lot. And with Nerchio having a spine crawler, it certainly shouldn't do anything. Although ZVZ is always so finicky. It's like what you think they're gonna do as opposed to what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
So Nerchio thinks that there might be a lot more lings than there are from Losira, and of course it's another spine crawler, gets a lot more lings, get a couple of banelings.
Whether he thinks there's more or not, there's still a hell of a lot of lings running around. The Spire, of course, will help, I guess, a little bit, because, of course, the lings can't shoot up, but they're going to be really good at sniping off banelings. And if Nerchio wants to keep on this aggression, I kind of like this pathway. Again, you're coming against Losira. The last thing you want to do is perhaps play that roach game, but both players sticking on 2 bases, not really diving for that third. Kind of useless baneling in the middle of the map at the moment. Going to try and chase everything back home.
Yeah, now it's Nerchio's turn to go ahead and use all the lings that he made to counterattack, and now he has a lot more lings, and he has all these banelings that were made back at home. You don't usually see them waddle across the map. It looks like Losira, I guess the roach run was what was actually canceled or killed in that first attack, so he doesn't have that yet, and he also has a lot of banelings. This is very dangerous for Losira. Oh, never mind. It actually worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward connector from Nerchio. Tries to get through this wall. Nice little hold position on the lings to try and block this out. Sadly, that's got to be, doesn't quite get the queen either. Earlier too, when he had those 4 lings running out of the base, I thought he was going to try and execute this queen. Like, sacrifice the lings for it, but...
Did Losira ever see the Spire?
That's a good question. So focused on this aggression.
Yes, he did. The ling up there.
Does he think about it, though, is the other question. I mean, you're still going for roaches. You're still looking to go across the map with these roaches. What I am concerned about, though, is the fact that there are no spore crawlers down, not an excessive amount of queens. It's our good friend and pal Namshar who's actually shown us recently that heavy queen counts counter Mutalisks quite nicely, until you can get something more appropriate like Hydralisks out, but 1 or 2 very damaged queens defending these mineral lines is not going to cut it.
I mean, the good news is with any Muta player, they're going to attack the Overlords first.
Yeah.
So Spore Crawlers really don't take that long to build.
Well, by cleaning up a couple of the Overlords, going to supply block Losira, but I think the most important thing is when you do this, you strip vision away from your opponent. Normally, we often joke about Zerg players having map hacks, quote-unquote, right? Because, Overlords spread, creeps spread, but this Spore Crawler is barely going to get up. Luciro's going to have to get out of there. Nice transfuse on it, too.
Transfuse is pretty important here. I mean, that's a good place for a Spore Crawler. You just need one covering your army until you do have a nice number of either Queens or Hydras. But his third is still, it actually should be harassed at least. And I'm surprised Nerchio's not even trying to go over there and attack it. He knows that it's there too, like the Overload's right there, but I guess he saw the roaches moving out, knew that he needs to start attacking them ASAP.
Roaches, of course, as we see, don't exactly take a lot of damage from the Mutalisks. I mean, the Mutas, it's not quite having Banshee DPS to clean up these roaches, but these spines are going to help out a ton. A lot of these roaches are starting to get really low, and the Ling's going to try and clean this up. Nerchio himself, by the way, did not over-dedicate, doesn't start transitioning out, but what I am curious about for Losira is this infestation pit. I want to just kind of be like, oh, this is definitely for, the infestors, catch the mutas, get some fungal growths for the roaches, but, I mean, it's still a bit of an odd one to have. That money might be better spent on, I don't know, Hydralisks or something for the time being, but fungal growths do work versus mutas. Can't discount them.
And they do, of course, work against the inevitable roach game.
Yeah, I actually really like him versus roaches. It's just, if he's building this for the roaches, I put a question mark. If he's building it for the mutas, it makes sense.
Yeah. So, like, here's the thing about infestors as well, is that Losira is actually down in supply right now, so that's not helping either. But even if he wasn't, dedicating the gas and money into the actual building, the upgrade, and then the infestors, and they're not useful right now. And even when they pop, the chances of them getting that, like, perfect fungal isn't exactly all that high. So oftentimes we see a large number of roaches actually just overwhelm the person trying to transition into infestors. Now, a lot of Nerchio supply is in mutas, which might not be that helpful if the queen can take them down, but actually they're being super helpful as there's no spore crawler here anymore.
Losira does have a pretty discernible upgraded advantage too over Nerchio, but as far as roaches go, they don't shoot up at the end of the day, and I think that's what matters the most. A couple of spore crawlers still scattered around, but Nerchio opting to go for overlord kills instead of trying to win that roach war. I mean, I can't say the muted DPS would have been enough to like heavily turn that in his favor, but still odd to see him not to try and complement that, I suppose.
I mean, the upgrade really did help, and I think Losira just, flat out had more roaches at the time. And yeah, that many mutas was not enough to really turn the ground battle anyways. So Losira takes a decent fight. They're both on 3 bases. Losira actually a little bit down in drones. There's 9 more on the way, but now he has the better tech. He gets infestors, and he's also going up to Hydralisk Den.
Hydras, man, I don't know. They're quite fickle. I wonder if he'll have the gas to really get an appropriate amount of them with the amount he's investing in these infestors. I mean, Hydras are not exactly cheap units, and sometimes all you really need is like 5 to 10, but he has a lot invested in these infestors early on. Nerchio is taking some roach damage. Outside the map, those will burn for quite some time. I was trying to keep an eye on them, see when they don't burn. Pick up about 2 drones and get out of there.
Nerchio just seemed... Oh, well, never mind. He's going to go for the banelings as well. Which, it's not a bad choice that they can connect to the Hydras. They're really great. Unfortunately, 1 good fungal. And when you have like 6 fungals, there's a high chance you're going to get it. It will just stop the banelings literally in their tracks. Like, they can't roll anymore. So that's always a dangerous thing to do against infestor. An infestor composition.
Look at that overlord clump, by the way. It almost looks like it's blurry. Like it's one overlord that's really blurry.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Alright, so he's gonna break through the back rocks, and I don't know if he's gonna really dedicate to this, but it does provide another avenue of attack.
I was like, where did those broodlings come from?
Yeah,
he's gonna kill one of the evo chambers.
Yeah, me too. I was like, wait a minute, what? Those hidden broodlords, right?
Yeah, the ones that we didn't see.
Okay, so this is a little bit scary for Nerchio. This attack he's gearing up for, very powerful, very strong. But at the end of the day, he's still down in upgrades. These banelings could get fungled. I mean, this could go really sour really quickly. And there's a lot of fungals too. Like, he can afford to miss like 3 or 4 and still perhaps land on the banelings. But trying to roll past the army, not actually going to connect to much of anything, as they get sniped off pretty quickly. The Meteor's perhaps diving in a little bit prematurely, but that roach count for Nerchio looking quite good, 47 over 31. We'll see if that's going to be enough. The Hydra's DPS is nice, but they're not that good at tanking these hits. The fungal growths are actually going to catch a lot of the roaches here on the left side, and that might just barely be what Losira needed. These roaches, I don't know if they'll straight up die to the fungals, but they're taking a lot of damage.
Well, I think with this one, a lot of them will. I mean, okay, maybe you need 1 more. Okay, 1 more it is. What? Missed it out, but he did take a good fight.
And that's the thing too, like Nerchio took that with an upgrade disadvantage. He's a base up over his opponent and has been for some time. I mean, this is not a mining base just yet, but still, like, that was a pretty good trade considering just how I would gauge ahead Losira is. I just say this, of course, referring to tech, upgrades, infestors, and Hydralisks.
Yeah. But in the end, Losira did take the better fight. So now he's the one that's posturing to go up this ramp. And Nerchio without infestors, if he has infestors, Losira does not go up this ramp. But with the better upgrades, plus 2 characters about to finish here.
See if the Spines can give all the fight, now get sniped off pretty quickly. Defender's advantage, though, is a hell of a thing, and it might just barely be enough. I don't know. These roaches are still going quite strong for Losira. Those upgrades for Nerchio are starting to match that of his opponent. It's no longer as big of a deficit, but still, a lot of his roaches badly injured. They cannot burrow to heal.
Queens, the infested Terrans, very little extra damage, but
it's enough.
Sometimes it's, enough.
Nerchio's supply count overall just kind of dwindling at this point. Losira gonna knock down this 4th, but I feel for Nerchio, like, if he over-dedicates to this defense of a base that's dead, oh man, there's so many overlords here too, it could cost him more of his army than he needed, and then the attack very well may just push through the wave. But if he just pulls the roaches back right now, pulls the overlords back, he may at least stay in this game. And do keep in mind, while his army supply is down, he's got plenty of time to actually make this up. Problem is, he's still sitting on what is just roaches.
If he had a bank, it'd be like no problem, but he's struggling to get each roach.
Well, for Losira's sake, he does have this 4th out now. It is mining, and of course those infestors from earlier have started to regenerate their energy, so Gonna be useful once again. They did kind of just use everything, you know, every fungal, every infested terror possible. But for Nerchio's sake, I don't know. He just doesn't have. I feel like he doesn't have that element X. You know, that little extra bit he needs. GG, in fact, is gonna be called, and Losira